My mom called me an abuser yesterday evening. Even though she physically and emotionally abused me for my entire life, don't want to go too much into it, but to summarize quickly. I was doing online work that I had to complete within a certain time limit that requires your utmost attention. Before I started, I went outside to feed the stray cats who were hungry at my doorstep. I then went to go work. All was well until my mom asked me to go clean up something. I told her that I was busy and I would get it done once I'm finished. Reminder time limit. All is well. Even though I was on a time limit, I still went and briefly cleaned off what she told me to. I didn't fully check it over, but I still tried to quickly do it. I knew that I probably had to recheck over it when I finished working, but I didn't have the time. All was well. I finished my work. It took a while because I have attention and motivation issues. Keep in mind I had just finished and I was on my way to the kitchen. Now keep in mind I did try to clean it up, but while I was working and did not finish. Then it happened all at once. My mom stood in front of me with this mean, frightening look on her face. She then started screaming and hollering at me and cussing me out because she said I didn't do what she says. I realized I accidentally left the fork on the couch I fed the cats with, and I immediately apologized. I hadn't realized I had because I was working. I tried to explain myself and apologize, but she ignored me and kept screaming at me. I told her I tried to do better, and I actually tried, but she didn't care. She said I didn't try hard enough to clean up or whatnot. I kept apologizing to defuse the situation, but she kept escalating it and getting more and more angry and swearing more and more at me. I told her numerous times I didn't like when she swore at me and calls me names, bitch, motherfucker, and asterisk, I'm black. But she refuses to listen. I acknowledged my mistake and I was going to clean it up afterwards, but my mom kept yelling. And then, out of nowhere, she called me her abuser. She said I fucking abused her. I fucking abused her? She says I treated her badly ever since I was a toddler. She blames me as a toddler for mistreating me, and I couldn't believe my ears. Here's a list of what my mom has done to me to show you just how hypnotical she is. As a kid, I was emotionally abused for as young as I remember, being called swear words and names even since I was a little kid. I didn't just face normal spankings as a kid. I was stripped down to my bare ass and spanked sometimes in front of people. The most brutal spanking is when I was hit outside in the backyard with a long extension cord. Another time I was sat on by her while she hooped me. Faced punishments as a child by not only her but by one of my first grade teachers. The teacher in question required bad kids to hold multiple crates of books up for extended period of time. Allowed a student in our class to be beat with a belt by her father in front of all of us. Told us black children we could dress up at school as slaves during Black History Month. My mother had me stand on one leg or up on all fours for what seemed to be more than 30 minutes, and we were not allowed to put them down. My mom would then fall asleep and leave us standing up until she said to stop. I was kicked out of the house at age 12 2 times for 4 weeks in total and had to live in a group home, which essentially was like a prison. Couldn't leave except for school, no phones or technology, had to go through a scanner every day. They paid us a bit of money for doing work and took us to the movies like twice, but in return I had to stay in a room with another random kid and was not allowed to leave besides going to the restroom and taking a bath, or going to school/out. I was forced to get therapy over things my mom reported in my paperwork. One such thing is I lie to hurt other people and numerous other misinformation without ever consulting me beforehand. I was sent twice after I was caught being on my Chromebook for school when I wasn't supposed to. I was screaming and crying as I was forced to pack my bags and was dropped off at the location. I wasn't even 12. My mom invaded my privacy numerous times, going through my notebooks and my drawings and shit-talking them to my relatives without my permission. Stood in front of me while she went through my personal notebook and I couldn't do anything to stop her. It was one of the few things I had to cope. Threatened to break my things. Watched me in the dark while I was drawing in my room without saying anything, and proceeded to yell at me when she caught a glimpse of what I was drawing. Threatened me and my siblings with a gun. It was unloaded, she revealed while it happened, supposedly, as a way to defend her actions, but that doesn't fucking matter. I thought I was going to die and get shot by mom, and we were forced to do sit-ups and push-ups while being held at gunpoint. All because someone used her soap. In middle school, she used to throw everything to the ground if my room was messy, so I'd have a pile of items and shit on my floor to clean up. This happened every once in a while, and I'd come home to it to pick it up. Religious trauma. Was raised in what technically was a cult. There's a lot more she did, I don't feel like going into it. I discuss some of the other things in detail on my profile. Update. This isn't the act where I posted it. I don't remember the name of the account, but if I find it, I will post it in the comments. This is just a shit posting all. So after I heard that, I completely mentally lost it and had a mental meltdown and started screaming, and this is what happened. Hell nah, you're not gonna do that in my house. Go and scream outside. I was kicked outside. I was wearing nothing but pajamas and socks. No shoes. On the porch in the snow. There was a blizzard a few days ago and freezing weather. I managed to tell her as she was kicking me out that I hated her. I sat outside crying fully a mess until she told me to come back inside 30 minutes later. She did briefly come outside and said that she better not hear me say I hate her again. She said she knew I hated her, but I finally said it out loud, which isn't even true. She just kept yelling and provoked me to say it. I then ran into my room covering my face in tears. This was yesterday. My mom never apologized, never asked how I was doing. I don't have her, but I hate her actions, which are despicable. She never acknowledges or takes blame for what she does. I can see right through her. She deliberately tried to make me upset because it makes her feel in a position of power and control over someone. She hates her life and goes and takes it out on me and my siblings as a way to deflect blame. She deliberately knew that what she was doing made me upset and intentionally did that to see me upset. She was already upset and was looking for an excuse. Any small mistake I did to shift blame to me for her feelings and for her to feel validated. And once she found it, she went off on me. That's what I think happened. I'm done talking. I am working on getting a job and getting out of there and going no contact whenever I can move out. I will move out as soon as possible. I am not going to call the police. Instead, give her what she wants. She wants me to leave so bad and constant asks me when I'm leaving. I'm disabled and struggle to find work. So when I do so, I'm leaving and I won't be contacting her. I think having her in a nursing home with no one visiting her because of her shitty actions is more punishment than going to prison. Update. Please do not call my mother a witch or a monster. She is not evil, but she is seriously ill and refuses to get help or change. Keep in mind she thinks what she's doing is right, and she seems to have a personality disorder. She is sometimes the nicest person ever, and on other days she's extremely cruel and mean. She thinks that she is doing the right thing and that she's trying to help me. A truly evil person would not think that. If anyone calls my mother names, you will be blocked immediately. You still don't know her, so you don't get to decide if she's evil based on my testimony. I've seen evil people before, but she isn't one, just seriously misguided and ill. I come here for support because I don't have anyone in my life. I didn't post this to give you permission to call my mother names. I'm the only one who can do that. You can't.